What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. I know you guys are probably shocked to see my face. For some of you guys who are part of my newer subscriber base, you may not have even seen my face at all. So if you look on other YouTubers' channels, you really got to search for it, but you'll find me. I'm kind of like the Black Waldo of Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyways, we're talking about anime in this video, hence the title, Anime Talk. For anybody looking for a discussion based on Yu-Gi-Oh!, just feel free to go ahead and check out now. Thank you for watching. And we're doing an anime discussion on this show right here, Hunter x Hunter. I know that I promised I was going to finish talking about Attack on Titan, and I will. I finished the show. I've actually watched it 2 times over, but I am almost giddy as a schoolgirl right now watching Hunter x Hunter. Let me just share my early impressions of the show. Okay, so a lot of people were selling this show as the king of the shonen, and I was just like, me being a One Piece fan, I was like, okay, no, just stop. You know what I mean? And you go into this show, and here's your main character, Gon, and he is just adorable. He's this 12-year-old kid. He lives on this little remote island. He seems to have a fairly happy life, a very positive outlook on life itself, and he's so bubbly and cheerful, and he wouldn't hurt a fly. And I'm like, wait a minute. So this is supposed to be like the next huge shonen action show? I'm not seeing it. This show is too positive, and everything is too fluffy, and everything's too bright, and for the most part, even through most of the Hunter exam, it kind of feels like that. It kind of feels like Gon's energy is the energy of the show. And then you have your other 4 characters. You've got, you've got Kurapika, Leorio, Kill, and Hisoka. And, okay, let me just address this right off the bat. Why is Leorio in the show? I'm realistically, I'm asking that because he seems to not be an integral part of the show, despite the fact that if you would just Google Hunter x Hunter or you try and find any information about the show, the dude's everywhere. He's in all the opening and ending credits. Like, they make him as he's a centerpiece of the show, and he's just not. I mean, I am now on episode, I think, 48. So I'm basically 50 episodes in. We don't know anything about this guy's backstory. He has had no major conflicts in this show. He has not had a major fight. And when it comes from just a pure combat perspective, he is clearly behind the other 3 main characters. Well, 4 if you include Hisoka. As far as just being able to fight, I mean, the dude's just really learning about Nin, and I'm like, okay, I can understand that, but 50 episodes in and we've never seen you fight? Like, what's that about? Kurapika is... I think he just became my favorite character, and I'm trying not to be a prisoner of the moment. He just had this amazing fight with this guy named Ivu. It was, well, I'll get to that in a second. My issue with Kurapika is, despite the fact that now understanding that Hunter x Hunter came before Naruto, it seems like they kind of ripped off Kurapika so much to make Sasuke as a character. And I find it interesting because I'm not really a Sasuke fan, but I love Kurapika. Although my boy seems to be on this path of self-destruction. When you first meet him, he seems so intelligent and so intellectual, and above anything else, he just seems to have a lot of integrity. You know what I mean? He seems like a person who's all about justice. And you know, now that I'm in the York City arc, this dude he has questionable affiliation. He's, you know, kind of become almost like a hired gun. And I get that it's all a means to an end to get to the Phantom Troupe, but the person that he was for, you know, like the first 10 episodes that we met him, and now it's like complete night and day. And that's why I'm looking at him and I'm like, I hope you don't become evil. You seem to be on this dark path, the same one that Sasuke was on, that ended, I guess, pretty much destroying him and turning him into the dark side. And Kurapika, you know, he looks so righteous, and I think he's on the same path. Gon and Kill are pretty standard, although I feel like the show treats... They present Kill in the most smug way ever. You know, Killua is a 12-year-old assassin, and the show says that about 3 times, and then they just expect for you to accept it. And me being a rational person, you say like assassin and 12-year-old, and like that's an oxymoron to me. Like, those 2 things don't go together. A 12-year-old should be out riding a bike or playing children's card games or something like that. And then during the Hunter exam, you know, not only does Killua rip someone's heart out and hand it to him, like it's no big deal. You know, during the one-on-one battles, basically the finale of the Hunter exam, this dude kills someone in cold blood with his bare hands. And the craziest thing is Gon and Kurapika and Leorio, when they meet up with Kel again on his, home island, nobody even says anything. It's like this show wants to pretend that it doesn't happen, but I'm sitting here like, oh my god, my mind's fucking blown. I just saw a 12-year-old kill someone with his bare hands. Like, I don't know if I was ready for that. They don't even ask him. And me personally, if I'm like Leorio, we're not as tight as you and Gon are. So I'm looking at you like, homie, you're cool and everything, but I don't know if I can fuck with you no more, because like, you crazy and you might kill me too. Now I will say this for anybody who is looking to getting into Hunter x Hunter. The show definitely starts off slow. The Hunter exams, again, very bubbly, positive, pudding and rainbows and sunshine theme to the whole Hunter exam for the most part. And then they have, I guess, a little quick journey to Kill's homeland, which for the most part is utterly pointless. I do like the fact that right after that, the show separated your four main characters. And it makes sense because they all kind of became hunters for completely different reasons. Kurapika wants to destroy the Phantom Troupe. Gon wants to find his dad. Kill has no idea what he wants to do. And then Leorio wants to become a doctor. So these are four different things. They don't seem to me like they're going to intertwine. So there was no reason for them to like all just magically have, some convenient arc together. Like, it kind of makes sense in One Piece because even though you have these 9 separate characters, or I guess 8 if you don't count Luffy, they all kind of combine to help Luffy achieve his goal in hopes of them being able to achieve their goals at the same time. It's hypothetically possible that Sanji could find the All Blue while helping Luffy become the king of the pirates, but Kurapika destroying the Phantom Troupe while searching for Gon's dad, that doesn't make any sense at all. Now, the show really does take the gloves off when you get to the heavens. When you get to the heavens arena, the show obviously starts flexing its muscle. And this is what you guys were talking about, because at that point, I was a little checked out. Like, the story was still good. It's just, there hadn't been any major, like, throwdowns. And it's sad because the show really did miss an opportunity. The last round of the Hunter exam is supposed to be just pure one-on-one combat, a la the Chunin exams in Naruto, and those things were fucking epic. This show, you have that, and you basically see one fight, and all that is Gon getting his ass whooped by Hanzo, so obviously that's not satisfying. However, in the Heavens Arena, I mean, you see Castro versus Hisoka, and just, if you have never seen Hisoka fight, it's a pleasure to watch. Hisoka is fucking amazing, and I would say that's an epic fight. And then the show just really got me. Hisoka versus Gon. I imagine they're gonna fight a couple of more times in the show, but Hisoka versus Gon Part 1 was amazing. Not only did you just have flat out bare knuckle, people getting punched in the face and kicked and everything like that, so the action was obviously intense, but it was very thoughtful. There was a lot of deception in it. You see that Gon had to meticulously think of ways to try and close this gap between, his experience level and Hisoka's, because obviously he was far outmatched. And I like that element of the show because it kind of threw me for a loop. Like, I wasn't expecting that. I always thought that the reason I love Naruto so much is because every single battle, it was like expect the unexpected. You never really knew what was going to happen because so much of the fighting was based on deception. And it looks like Hunter x Hunter has some of that in it. To be honest, I would say that a good description of how they fight in Hunter x Hunter, it's like a mixture of Yu Yu Hakusho, which makes sense because the guy who did this show, I believe, made Yu Yu Hakusho, hence why Gon kind of looks like Yusuke, and Naruto. Like, if you combine those two, and then something drastic happens. You get to York City, and I've seen a lot of anime in my life. I don't think I've ever seen a mood change in the history of anime so drastic as what this show just did. You get to York City, and you start meeting the Phantom Troupe. Now, obviously, the show has sold you a bill of goods that they are just ruthless A-class killers, a la the Akatsuki or the Espada or whatever, just amazing group of characters that you like from your anime. And oh my god, you get that in spades. I mean, you meet the Phantom Troupe, and basically 5 minutes after you meet them, in the first scene, they show up to an auction house. There's hundreds of people in the room. They just pull out guns and start shooting everybody. Everyone in the entire, I guess, Opry is just brutally murdered. Even a couple of bodyguards there that were just simply protecting, their prospective clients and stuff. They're just, one of them gets shot straight through the dome. Another one gets their head bashed in, and it's a female too. Like, I was not expecting that. I didn't understand because the show is, again, it's almost like the show has schizophrenia, because every time Gon's in a scene, it's like, ah, la, 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 let's eat some pudding and popsicles, and everything's going to be all fluffy and green, and everything's going to be magical, and we're just going to have a grand old time. And then you get the scenes with, like, Kurapika, and it's like, oh my god, does this dude, like, have a fucking demon in him? You see the Phantom Troupe, and it's like, you know, evil, he's fighting some members of the mafia. He bites off half of a guy's face, killing him instantly, chews up his skull, and spits it through another person's skull. I was like, done. This show's fucking too hype. Like I don't know who made this show, but literally, I let my 8-year-old nephew watch Attack on Titan. I'm not sure I'd let him watch Hunter x Hunter. This shit is way too raw. Even I'm a full-grown adult, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe they just showed that. It's so amazing. You know, as you can see, I'm thoroughly enjoying the show. It is unlike anything that I ever could have expected. Just how you know, seemingly peaceful things can be, and then 2 seconds later, the tone of the show can be so dark. Now, the last character I want to talk about is Hisoka. I don't know what to make of this guy. I don't think this show knows what it wants to do with Hisoka, but I find him absolutely fascinating. He is not quite good. He's not entirely evil. You don't really understand what his purpose is, although they find ways, and I guess he finds ways to make himself relevant through the arcs without feeling like he's been shoehorned in. You know, the fact that he was at the Heavens Arena and he kind of went there just so that he could fight against Gon. The fact that he joined the Phantom Troupe just so that he could fight the boss of the Phantom Troupe, and then he, you know, meets Kurapika, and he's like, hey, you want to join up? Like, you know what I mean? He keeps popping up, but he's relevant, but it doesn't feel like the show's forcing him onto us, and the fact that you can't read this guy, it makes him that much more interesting, to be honest. So the only major gripe I would have is the slow start that the show has, and then I don't really like the way that they introduced the Phantom Troupe. Like, if I'm not mistaken, there's 13 members, and you knew a couple of them. You didn't know that they were Phantom Troupe, but the ones, when you meet everybody, it's all in one episode. And I'm like, what the? I feel like it's too much of a good thing. Like, you introduced 13 bad guys in one episode? Like, that's too much. And, you know, in Naruto, you had the Akatsuki, and it was 10 guys. And right off the break, you met Deidara and, you know, Sasori, and they had their little fun. And then later, you met Hiden and Kazuku. And then, you know, way into 100, you meet Pain. So it's like everything is spaced out and there's different arcs, and you meet them all, and you get the epic glory of each character. With this show, although these dudes have proven themselves to be hype beyond belief, I just felt like maybe it was too much of a good thing. Like, they threw them all together, and it's like, okay, I might remember their names, and I'll definitely remember their faces, but you can't expect me to remember, you know, if this guy is a manipulator, and if she's a specialist, and if this guy's an enhancer, when you give me 13 characters at once. Thank you guys for watching, as always. I am going to make that Attack on Titan video, and I know that from what I hear, episode 131 is supposed to be bigger than the Return of Jesus, so I'm definitely going to make a video after that, but probably when I get into maybe around episode 70, because right now I'm just blazing through the show, I'll probably make another one, and again, Attack on Titan, that's coming soon too.